Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. We'll start with our top story. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the Golden Jubilee celebration of Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. At the event, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also visited the exhibition. Over 1.25 lakh farmers witnessed the event at Narendra Modi Stadium, Motera, Ahmedabad. Speaking on Indian dairy growth sector, PM Modi said there has been 60% growth in milk production in the last decade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also visited Mehsana amidst warm welcome by the locals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered prayers at Walinath Mahadev Temple in western state of Gujarat. The temple, which is believed to be 900 years old, is newly constructed. India's External Affairs Minister has again called for radically reforming the United Nations Security Council. India's Foreign Minister emphasized on global rebalancing and categorically said the new reality will be more pragmatic. On the sidelines of the Raisina dialogue, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday held bilateral meetings with his counterparts from Slovak Republic, Ghana and Tanzania and discussed cooperation with both countries in multiple sectors. The Foreign Minister of Estonia is also in New Delhi for the Raisina dialogues. Showering praises on India, Margus Sakna said India is taking the lead globally as the biggest democracy. India's IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav also participated in one of these sessions on Thursday. He said the growth story of India that we are seeing today is well thought out and planned ahead of time. Speaking on one of the sessions, India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant highlighted that approximately 6 billion people are vulnerable to geopolitical shocks and crises due to their dependence on foreign fossil fuels. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Finland Minister for Foreign Affairs Elina Valtonen in Delhi on the sidelines of Raisina dialogue. The leaders unveiled the logo celebrating 75 years of India-Finland diplomatic ties. An air power demonstration and city parade is being organized in the city alongside various other events in Milan 2024 on Thursday. In a major development for the Indian Navy, India's Cabinet Committee on Security has reportedly given the green light for the acquisition of over 200 BrahMos extended range supersonic cruise missiles to be deployed on its warships. The contract is likely to be inked in March. The holy relics of Lord Buddha along with his disciples arrived at the National Museum in Bangkok. The relics were initially preserved at the Indian National Museum in New Delhi. In the sacred occasion, Thai ambassador to India, Patrat Hongtong, expressed her gratitude on the growing exposition and India-Thailand cultural and bilateral bond. India's Minister of State for Agriculture, Arjun Munda, said that multiple rounds of discussions have taken place with farmer organizations regarding their concerns. He emphasized the importance of resolving issues through dialogue. India's Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur launched 4 online portals: Press Seva Portal, Central Bureau of Communication Portal and website, Navigate, Bharat Portal, National Register for LCOs. India's Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved the amendment in foreign direct investment policy in the space sector. The Cabinet has allowed up to 74% FDI under automatic route in satellite manufacturing and operation. India's latest weather satellite, INSAT 3DS, has entered the desired geosynchronous orbit above Earth to begin observations and is expected to reach the in-orbit testing location by 28 February. The Indian markets ended in green on Thursday. Sensex jumped 535.15 points to close at 73,158.24 points. While Nifty hits all-time high with 162.50 points to settle at 22,217.50. Indian rupee rose 12 paise to close at 82.84 against the US dollar. Gold future maturing on 5th April stood at Rs 62,150 per 10 grams on Multi Commodity Exchange of India Limited. Silver futures maturing on 5th March stood at Rs 70,984 per kg on the MCX. Asian equities and US stock futures rose on Thursday in a sign of fresh momentum in global equities after Nvidia Corp unveiled a better-than-expected revenue forecast. Japan's benchmark Nikkei share on Thursday surged past an all-time closing high scaled in December 1989 as chip-related stocks jumped after US chipmaker Nvidia's outlook beat market expectations, with revenues posting. The German Ministry of Economic Affairs on Wednesday released its latest economic outlook report, lowering the country's economic growth forecast this year to 0.2%. It also predicts that Germany's inflation rate will reach 2.8% this year. Singapore plans to require sustainable aviation fuel on all flights starting from 2026, with the goal of achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Sam Bankman-Fried, the jailed founder of bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX, appeared in court on Wednesday. He appeared in court for the first time since his conviction in November last year for stealing billions of dollars from FTX customers. The Indian Army's Trishakti troops rescued more than 500 tourists stranded along the India-China border in northeastern state of Sikkim. The tourists were stuck due to unexpected heavy snowfall. They were provided with hot meals and prompt Medicare, and safe transportation was arranged, the army said. Heavy rain slashed the streets of the Ecuadorian city Chon. Vehicles driving through floodwaters with Chon's plaza fully submerged in the severe rains. According to Ecuador's National Meteorological Institute, rains are forecast to persist, with situations ranging from floods to landslides. Also, the city has declared an emergency. Bolivia experienced heavy rains causing landslides along the banks of a swollen river in Lapa, leaving several houses damaged and at risk of collapse. Over 60 centimeters of heavy snow pounded the mountainous areas of South Korea's Gangwon-do province on Thursday. At least 30 car accidents were reported in a single day. Heavy snow has been forecast until Friday. According to a report released on Thursday, deadly wildfires will become more likely in the South American country as climate change makes the world hotter and drier. Heavy snowfall that hit China's eastern provinces caused transport delays and road traffic disruptions. Machines and workers were deployed to remove the accumulated snow and ice. Freezing conditions in various regions had led to heavy snow cover blocking mountain roads. China's weather department predicted sub-zero temperatures in the days ahead. Video shot on Wednesday showed a tornado throwing debris up in the air in Indonesia's West Java province. According to officials, 33 people have been injured and hundreds of buildings damaged. The two-day G20 foreign ministers meeting commenced in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, with international crisis and global governance reform as top agenda for discussion. Brazil opened conference of G20 foreign ministers on Wednesday by blaming the UN for failing to stop mounting wars and conflicts. India's Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan met US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on the sidelines of G20 foreign ministers meeting in Brazil. Japan's Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa held bilateral talks with his South Korean counterpart Sho Tae-yul on the sidelines of the G20 foreign ministers meeting. Russian forces repelled 6 Ukrainian offensives in the directions of Kupiansk, Donetsk and Kherson and destroyed Ukrainian tanks, artillery and munitions. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces in their offensive destroyed Russian air defense systems and fuel depots and also shot down a Su-34 fighter jet. Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky called on Poland's leaders and EU officials to come to the Polish-Ukrainian border for talks over repeated blockades by Polish farmers. Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted presidents of Commonwealth of Independent States as the honorary guests for the opening of the Games of the Future in Kazan City. Russia said Joe Biden's remark about President Putin's debased the US after President Biden called Putin a crazy sop during a fundraiser event. Dozens of lawmakers stormed out of Britain's parliament on Wednesday as the 3 biggest political parties sought to outmaneuver each other over a vote on a ceasefire in Gaza. Israel's fighter jets struck Hezbollah terror targets in Lebanon in the areas of Qiyam, Zipkin and Shlomi. Israel's military intercepted a target in the area of Retzei after sirens warning incoming rockets sounded in the southern city of Eilat. Israel's parliament voted to back Netanyahu's declaration opposing the unilateral creation of Palestinian state. Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz said there were promising early signs of progress on a new deal to release hostages from Gaza. An Israeli mother said that an UNRWA worker kidnapped his son in reference to a video made public by Israeli officials that showed a UN relief worker loading body of a shot Israeli man into an SUV. Israeli police said 3 Palestinians opened fire at motorists near an Israeli checkpoint in Jerusalem, resulting in death of 1 person and injury to 5 others. U.S. Representative Mike Gallagher met Taiwan's President-elect Lai Ching-te. After the meeting, Gallagher said U.S. needs to ensure the delivery of weapons to Taiwan as a measure to deter China and reduce its aggression. U.S. President Joe Biden announced that his administration was cancelling $1.2 billion worth of student loans for nearly 153,000 people. British PM Rishi Sunak visited King Charles in Buckingham Palace for the first time since his cancer diagnosis. Former WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's last fight to stop extradition to the U.S. concluded at the London Courts of Justice. Julian Assange's wife, Stella Assange, called the U.S. prosecution on his husband's case as an attack on truth. Brazilian footballer Dani Alves was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for sexually assaulting a woman in 2022. The court also ordered Alves to pay $163,000 to the victim. Dani Alves' legal team said it will launch a challenge against his conviction as the footballer believed he was innocent. 2 people were killed after an empty ship hit the bridge over the Pearl River in China's Guangzhou city, causing part of the bridge to break off, plunging the vehicles into the water. Philippines Coast Guard disapproved of his Chinese counterparts' claim that they had repelled a Filipino vessel. He said a Philippines vessel remained in the area to support Filipino fishermen and ensure their security. At least 15 people were killed and 11 injured in a landslide at an illegal open-pit gold mine in southern Bolivar Peninsula. France's iconic Eiffel Tower remained closed for the 3rd day following a workers' strike calling for a review of financial management by the Paris City Hall. Ahead of the major Paris agriculture show, French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal announced a new package of measures to try to support the farming sector following recent protests. Hundreds of unionized workers in Peru took to the streets of Lima to demand better wages and new presidential elections. Albania's parliament ratified a migration deal with Italy, allowing it to build processing centers for migrants in the Balkan country. According to Australian TV network 7, a retired Roman Catholic bishop was arrested and led away by police over child sex abuse allegations. The remains of Armenian Maisak Manouchian, figure of the French resistance during World War II, entered France's Patins on Wednesday. The day also marked 80 years since his execution by the Nazis. Los Angeles firefighters department rescued a horse from a sinkhole. The LAFD said they could not determine the cause of the sinkhole and how the horse became trapped. A dog trapped in the roaring waters of western Bolivia's river was rescued by a construction worker with the help of crane. In an effort to bring more pandas back to the United States, the National Zoo in Washington and China's Wildlife Conservation Association have made an agreement. An animal rights group activist on Wednesday interrupted Fenty's fall-winter collection show during Milan Fashion Week. She showed up on the catwalk carrying a banner. A group of activists appealed Australian lawmakers on Thursday for legislation that would force the government to consider how emissions-intensive projects can be harmful for future generations. During a rescue operation in Bagshot, England, a fox managed to escape with a phone that belonged to a worker for the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. The footage was released on Thursday. A stream in Belgrade's waterfront neighborhood causing sewage to spill into the Sava River, contributing to the city's water pollution. Indian actors Varun Dhawan and Janhvi Kapoor will be seen sharing screen in the upcoming film Sunny Sanskari Ki Tulsi Kumari. The film is slated to release next year. Paris Hilton stuns an Indian designer Gaurav Gupta's sculpted dress. The designer and their socialite took to their respective Instagram accounts to share the look. Indian actor Manoj Bajpayee's new film The Fable, directed by Ram Reddy, screened to a packed house at the Zoo Palace Theatre during the ongoing edition of the Berlin Film Festival. Indian actors Rakul Preet Singh and actor Jackie Bhagnani tied the knot in a beachside ceremony in Goa on Wednesday. The makers of the upcoming film Shaitan on Thursday released its trailer. The film is all set to release in theatres on March 8th. Indian actress Rashmika Mandanna made an appearance at Milan Fashion Week on Wednesday. The actor took to Instagram to share pictures of herself. Italian actor and songwriter Margherita Vicario makes her feature film directorial debut with Gloria, which premiered at the Berlin Film Festival on Wednesday. Director Abdurrahman Sissako's movie titled Black Tea shows a side of Africa that is not often portrayed on big screens. It is also one of 20 titles for the top Golden Bear Prize. Hollywood star Dwayne Johnson is producing a film based on the life of his wrestling hero Ric Flair. Dwayne took to X, formerly Twitter, to make this announcement. Adam Sandler and Carey Mulligan brought their star power to the Berlinale red carpet as they attended the world premiere of their science fiction Spaceman. India will take on England in the fourth test match in eastern city of Ranchi on Friday. India lead the series 2-1. England have made 2 changes to their playing 11 for the fourth test against India starting Friday in Ranchi. England have dropped leg spinner Rehan Ahmed and brought back off spinner Shoaib Bashir, while express pacer Mark Wood makes way for Ollie Robinson. Indian pacer Mohammad Shami has been ruled out of the upcoming Indian Premier League due to injury. He will undergo a surgery in the UK. The Board of Control for Cricket in India has announced the schedule for the first 2 weeks of the Indian Premier League commencing from March 22nd, 2024. In the 4th edition of the Khelo India University Games, Chitrakala University clinched the gold medal in women's table tennis competition. Andy Murray was sent packing from the Qatar Open after a marathon match against 18-year-old Jakub Mensik that saw 3 tie breaks before it was decided. World number 1 Iga Swiatek and US Open champion Coco Gauff made it into the 3rd round of the Dubai Tennis Championships. Porto snatched a shock-class Gas 1-0 victory over Arsenal as Galeno netted a sublime effort in the Champions League last 16 tie. Napoli fought back to hold visitors Barcelona to a 1-1 draw in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie. Alright, that's all we have in this edition of Express News. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.